Already back at home. This live streaming stuff's funny. You really don't know when it starts and when it doesn't start, because the timer jumps. Sometimes it'll count up to 5, sometimes it'll count up to 10, and then it restarts and counts all at different times. So it'll restart somewhere around 7 or 9 and then starts counting up again, and I find it quite amusing. So when I was watching some of my retakes yesterday of what I was able to watch, I was only able to get in, like, I don't know, I think I could watch up to video 6 or something, and then it was processing and I wasn't able to watch it anymore. All right, welcome back. So what I was just reiterating on how this live counter counts again. It's kind of funny. Just sometimes it'll count to 5 or 9, and then boom, it starts recounting again somewhere between 7 and 9, and then like I was saying yesterday, you really don't know when you're live because the bar's cutting across and the numbers keep counting and changing, and so you don't know if it started or restarted. Anyways, I was able to get 24% battery life to be able to come and take the epic photo shot for the thumbnail, and now I'm down to 15. So my landlord actually took over my parking spot again because I denied it, mostly because of this big tree here. It likes to drip sap onto it. Like, I still have sap on here from the summer that I gotta try and get off of here. Oh. So I had to go plug in. I still have to round up the power cords and everything. So you're gonna see the mess of my house. And yeah, carry on from there. I gotta start ripping stuff out of my little storage area so that I can get my inverter and a few items and get everything installed in the car so that I'm not running around without what I need, like power. Oops. Right. Action. So I need to find power cords. They're all in my storage room right now because that's where I was doing some filming. The charger kind of wrecked it a little bit yesterday. See that? It sucks. It's getting old though, so I'll have to get a new one. Once you get some money happening again, I don't want to spend money on this. If it still works, then we're good to go. I just need to baby it a little bit more. Yesterday I was running around in that run and gun situation and it was killing everything. Really seriously need to get plugged in pronto. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, now you get to see my diffuser is starting. So I started building a YouTube studio, and you can see I've got the diffuser happening. Didn't quite make it like how a lot of people suggest you should make it. I had to get creative. So I wasn't following any blueprint or plan or anything. And I did all different sizes. Oh, jeez. Bring it a little closer to it. Show you. Okay. So it's just staples. Like, they're hardly in the wall. Maybe quarter. Oh, I wouldn't even say quarter inch. They're so small. But I stapled the frame in. Right. Took 2 full pieces, 2 full lengths of these, and stapled one in below, and then I had like 1x4, I guess they call it. It's not a true cut, but that's what the sawmill calls it and does. And stapled that in to build myself a frame. You should do it on a piece of plywood, right? Like a big piece, but that just adds more weight. Thing is when I go to leave, it'll be a lot easier. This now, I kind of got to pull it off the wall. I do have it stapled in a few places to hold it together. I was trying to build it so fast that, and just with wood glue, that it wasn't staying, right? So I started stapling them together, but then had the issue because I didn't quite get that. Well, that's not a deep cut anyway. Didn't quite get that full, true level surface. Still have a surface. So I was thinking I might have to trace it out and then cut it with my jigsaw just to give myself a nice level shelf up there when I'm doing some display stuff. But basically all the other cuts that I was looking at were 2-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch for the diffuser, and they just put it into a square frame, and there's a certain pattern that's supposed to be followed to give you the proper diffusion. Why am I doing this? Because right beside you here is a furnace, and it echoes, right? So this, I needed a good background, and then I was going to just build myself a framed wall. And if you look up top, I put some of this insulation in. So this is the rock wool, right? 16-inch wide, because that's the width of the beams. And then 2x4 studs. It covers 59.7. It covers 59.7 square feet, and you get 12 bats, so 12 pieces, in other words. And some of them I've got tucked right in above the furnace to try and get rid of that echo sound and make it more hollow in here. But there's definitely room where I can probably put another 3 sheets in each one of these. So as I build up and build the studio more, this is where you start seeing where expenses come in. It gets very pricey. So this sheet right here, that was $130, right? For that one little sheet. And it does nothing. Like, it's for aesthetics. It does help. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But to get the real, true, the stuff that's really super dense, it's super expensive, but it works awesome. Like, there's this stuff that was freaking almost 3 inches thick, and it was only a little panel, probably twice the size of this, and she wouldn't even give me a price on it. So I'm thinking it was like $500 a sheet or something. She said it was just crazy expensive, but yet she's trying to sell me this huge sheet that would have covered this whole wall, which would be awesome when I have the money to be able to purchase something like that and build an entire room framed right in with it. But so what I'm getting at is, like, if you guys are going to get this kind of stuff, it's almost aesthetic, strictly aesthetic. Even if you're buying it off Amazon, you're probably going to get similar quality as to what this is, unless you're getting the true sound deadening, like really thick stuff, and you're not going to be able to squish on it like I can with this, right? You're still going to be able to feel those bumps. Like, I can squeeze these bumps right into nothing and push it right to my fingers. You shouldn't be able to do that if it's real dense. This still works. Like, it stops with the echo because you have all the triangles and the different contour. Don't get me wrong. But when you got people walking above your head, it's not going to be nearly enough. And when you've got a furnace right here that fires up and also gives you lots of reverb, it's not going to work. So this was the cheapest alternative. Like, I went to Home Depot. I probably paced up and down the aisle for half an hour trying to look at the different products, because there's stuff that's built in sheets and it's really strong, like really stiff. This has a little bit more play, more movement, so you can stuff it into areas that are tough and get it around. Like, I can't see it with the light, but where that light is, there's the electrical wire, obviously. So it's been installed about 2 inches higher, like drilled through the wood. So you have to go up and over that, because if you come down and you try to put sheeting on, then it just bulges down and you can't get your sheeting on properly. So I'm thinking about just buying a package every now and then completely filling this right up to the floor. Yes, this is my landlord's house. she said I can do whatever I want in this room. She's probably happy because it's upgrading her house for her, and her son plays drums. So when I move out, I'll just leave it so that he's got somewhere to come and bang his drums. Right now he's in the garage, but eventually I'm sure they'll move that down into here or whatever. And then there's this wall down the back corner, which is really funny because you can see here there's this huge hollow space. Like, look, stick this whole piece in there. Here it goes. And it goes all the way back through the entire room. Like, it's a long ways through there, 15 feet at least. So if I put a couple sheets in there and stuff it back, maybe put an entire package in there too, because it gets a real whistle sound from the wind. And so that was one of the things I did when I started building this, was just stood in here for a while and listened to the silence and where the different sounds were coming from when nobody else was home. And that's why I know I'm getting the wind. You can also feel it when you get close up to it. It's weird. You wouldn't think there'd be a gust in behind the wall, especially when there's only like that much room, but there's not much in there, maybe less than that. So yeah, this is kind of the start of the build. Still have a big mess on the floor. Not a big mess. Like, it was amazing. I went through 4 of these bundles, but this stuff, this is 1x2s, and these are 2x2s. And I think I went through 4 of these bundles, and this is what's left on the floor. That's what's up there. So it's amazing how quickly it disappears. So that's the thing, I guess. Making these long ones, it really chews up a lot of what's available. So you're better off to, if you're going to make one of these, just stick to the smaller cuts, 2, 4, and 6. I went with 8, 10, and then even a few 12s, right? But I wanted to really give it some character, some depth. That's kind of what I was going after. So I wish I built it a little bit different, because I'm not really getting the character feel that I wanted on the bottom. The idea with the 1x2s was that I was just going to have them come out a couple inches. So either 2, 4, or 6, maybe even less. Might just do like, maybe 2, 3, and 4, something like that. And then just have them stripped across, but at different depths in and out, stripped across. And, this is a 2x2, not the 1x1, but it would basically be like some there, and then this one out, and then this one in, and you'll see the kind of the gap because it's half the width of this, and that acts as a diffuser as well. So then it would have been like 2 different styles of diffuser in one, was the whole idea with that. But just wanted to do something a little bit different from my background, because you see like what I've got right now in the bedroom with the backdrop behind me, and you see that on a lot of people's channels. And then they have the desk feature or whatever, and that's kind of cool. I was thinking about getting a nice table here or building something out of wood. I saw a nice stump one day, and I should have just grabbed that. Like, it'd be cool to get a nice big stump, even if it's just a chunk, that's 4 to 6 inches, and then put it on a smaller stump so that you've got that wide, nice wood table, something to display stuff. I really don't have a lot of room in here. Like, this will be where my wall's standing, and it's 2 paces to that wall, right? And then about 4 paces. So that's 6 feet by 1, 2, 3 paces actually. So 6 by 12. This is what I have for studio. And if you calculate it already, that's 130 plus 60. That's 190. And then this wood, I can't remember exactly. I've got a receipt somewhere, but I probably spent already like $300-400, just probably $300, because the wood's not cheap, and that's where I'm at with this, $300. And then you look at the Nan light, that was part of that weekend's adventure as well. I bought the Nan light, which I'll eventually bring in here again so that we have some good light. But that was $500, and then I just bought the soft box. So that's another $200 on top of it. And then there's still other features that you can buy for that Nan light. So that's just one light and a little bit of sound stuff. I haven't even got into dressing it up yet, right? So we'll get into that further as things develop. But I don't know if I'm going to be concentrating on the studio so much anymore, because I'm going to be trying to be live and out there on the road, like in that run and gun. So studio doesn't exactly make sense at this moment, because I'm not going to be doing studio work. My studio is my car, and that's why we're doing this build up today. So I'm going to give you, I guess, the most widest view. Sorry about moving around so fast. Put you in the seat here. See what's going on. Clean this up a little bit. And I'm going to dig out whatever I've got with what I have and make things work. Yeah, I got to try and get my laptop holder. Once I have that, that'll be a nice feature to have in the car. It's going to look super dope. I had a nice one lined up. I thought it was here in Langley, but Langford, but it was actually in Langley. So I wasn't able to get the laptop mount. That's what I was saying I was going to do. That is all one build. And yeah, I was able to get it for $50, but I wasn't watching where the address was, and Langford is on the island and Langley's on the mainland. So for me to bring the car over there, that's like over $70 each way. So that's $140 just for the ferry ride, and then my fuel. So that's almost $200 by the time you fill up the car. Not that I'm going to use a full tank, but I'll probably use close to half a tank anyways. So it'd still be $30. So you're looking, and then to buy the unit. And I'm like, that makes no sense. And then there's another guy that had one exactly like what I have, and he was willing to send it. He wanted $114 for it, and then he was willing to send it, like I said. But then you're still looking at probably $200, close to it, by the time I spend my fuel to go and pick it up and everything else. And like, I've got one of these things, so I'm just gonna phone my friends, ask them if they'll dig it out for me and send it to me, because I sent a package to my dad, and this might be a little bit heavier, but box wise and width and stuff like that, it's going to be similar. So I'm thinking it might be 40, maybe $50 to send this thing, hopefully. So why go buy another one when you already have one? And yeah, I'm going to get the Nan light, plug that in. I found it kind of amusing because I have the proper tools to cut all of this stuff up, but not here. I took it all back with me when I moved off of the boat and moved into the house. Why did I take some of the stuff back? I don't know. And then I brought some silly stuff back that I'll never use. But whatever. Okay. Lights it right up. So yeah. What I ended up cutting it all with was a jigsaw. And a jigsaw is quite amusing. So I actually have like a hand grinder. You can actually get blades for them now. Just these little tiny blades that look like a saw blade.
right? This would be a sanding disc, so basically the exact same size as that, but a sanding blade, a saw blade, instead of a sanding blade. And this is the jigsaw. So I'm cutting all of these things up with this. So I'm not getting a square cut, so that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I don't put the square end in, I've got to put a curved end in. And then obviously some of them don't have any ore. So that was quite the fiasco. It took me like the entire day to cut up those things when it could have taken like half an hour with a skill saw. So always have the right tools for the job. I'm gonna go get my hat because my hair is driving me crazy. And instead of me disappearing through the house all the time and not entertaining you, might as well take you with me. So I was thinking when you had the nan light, why didn't I just... First streaming, I gotta entertain you, and disappearing all the time doesn't quite work. You want to see what I'm doing, right? It's part of the whole idea of streaming. Gather this audience and let them follow me around throughout the day. How else do they actually get to see what you do if you keep disappearing out of the room? Okay, so what we got going on here? Start cleaning this out. Well, this light might be handy to have once. I don't think that I'll use it, but I don't know when you gotta light up a situation when it's dark. What's cool about this, it's LED, right? There you can see the little LED lights in there. It's not as good as some of the LEDs. Like this LED is insane. It's got that little yellow thing. I'll show you. I'll shut it off and show you. And you can see it. But wow, like super intense for brightness. See that? Like it's just this flat piece. It doesn't even look like a light. It just looks like a sticker inside of there. And it's super bright. Like super bright. And that's all you need. All these guys, I think it's hilarious because they have this, they talk about the apertures, 160D or whatever, something crazy, all these crazy lights. This is a 60, a 4 is a 60, that's all you need. And they talk about these 120s and they're turning them right down to half. So why are you paying all this huge money for something that doesn't actually, that you're not using the full function of unless you're in a big production type studio? So just showing you that there's different modes, right? I think this is the TV mode. I can pull it down. So light. I've got the box, soft box. This piece comes right off. They just snap on, snap off. Dimness you can change, right? So this is TV mode. That's the bad bulb mode. I gotta go watch him. That's a 55% bad bulb, right? 100%. It's off, so there's no effects right now. You have channels on here. Channel 1 is on right now because you can have it on a remote and they can all be linked together with multiples. Flash 1, Flash 2, Flash 3, see, it's a long sequence, that's why I'm waiting. It's different. So there's different sequences, right? 2 is different too. So then storm 1. It's storm 1. It's just a different sequence of how everything flashes and in between. And storm 2. It's kind of trippy on the eyes. Takes a while. Different modes. The guy wasn't understanding it when he was selling it to me. It was quite amusing. It's like, this is obviously the first one you've ever touched. You just pulled it out of the box. You're trying to sell it to me and you don't know how it works. Like, buddy, you're a salesman. You work at a camera shop. Pull the thing out of the box and play with it. But I guess it was the first one ever probably to come into the store. And, I was the experimental guy. I bought it. The furnace is on. See? So this is something we gotta work with. The noise in the bad bowl. So we'll put it off. It's on TV in the bad bowl. Pull it out here. And just helps light up the situation a little bit better, I guess. Okay. It's on an apartment-sized washer and dryer. They work great. And then I went to the dollar store where my mom, and you can buy these as like 4 in a box or 6 in a box. And they're like little scrubbers, so they work. They mix into the clothes while the thing is spinning around. It works great. Cleans it out. Drains it, and then there's the spin dryer like you would see at the YMCA. Where you throw your shorts in there and spin dries, so you can only put a few items in there. It has to be balanced, right? Once it starts spinning, it goes all crazy on your foot. The thing works great. You live in an apartment? Oh, I should have given that to my cousin when he was here. Oh, why didn't I do that? Should have asked him how he washed clothes. This could have been perfect, Paul. This was perfect for you. Little apartment washer, you could wash your clothes, dried them, and hung them out on the line outside on the balcony. How silly of me. I don't even use it. Sorry, bud. Why did I not think of that when I was in here? Oh well. Things happen. They just give you a reason to move here. Okay. What do I got in this box? So I have a tow rope in this box. Could be a handy thing to have, right? I've got better ones, but it's not here. Like I've got one for a truck, and it's huge, thick rope. So this is just thin, right? Just a tow rope. Everybody should have it. These are, as far as I'm concerned, these are a one-time use thing. But I always push everything to the limit. So if you have a pickup truck, like a half-ton or something, this will work, but it's like a one-time thing. For my car, with the situation in, I could probably get away with using this quite a bit, up until it starts fraying and rips apart. So for the car, this is going to be good. I probably won't even use it because there's no snow around here. If I slip into the ditch around here, it's because I got crappy tires, but I bought really good tires and I stick to the road. It was kind of funny. I was in the Walmart parking lot last night after the episode at Uptown. And you know how you always hear the squeal in the movies? Tires squealing in the parking lot? I thought it was somebody else. And then when I left, every turn that I made, and then giving it some extra juice and just squealing everywhere. I'm like, oh yeah, this is totally the movies. I got to get down here and record some of that. So I'm going to have to take my camera down to Uptown and get some good car footage, you know, like ripping around, and get some good sound effects out of it too. I'll get those squealy sound effects on my own. Build my own sound effect lab rather than using other people's sound effects. So this is just spray gear, spray guns, so I can paint and stuff. And some ropes. These are always good if you want to make a sign. The Sharpie Magnum. Awesome. I love handing those to kids when they, if I have one of these in the car and I pass by kids with a lemonade stand. Typically, most kids don't have big enough letters for you to see. You know that it's a lemonade stand because of the fancy colors or something, or just two kids sitting at a table, right? So this is always fun. You bring that out. That's a huge tip on there, right? Like, it's massive. And it's fun to write with. It's a $7 marker. I've handed it over to a few of them, but because it's great. You know, if you're going to be in business, I'm going to help you out. I just like that. Bear mace. Hey, pepper spray. I might deal with some crazies out there one day. Pepper spray might be a smart thing to carry with me, actually. Have that tucked in beside the seat just in case some psycho tries to come at me. These I'm definitely not going to use. They're bear bangers for if you go hiking. And how old they are, they're probably expired. I should take them out and take this out to the bush, go try them out. Make some video out of that. Live stream it with the phone through the computer. Hey, that's a good idea. Let's go bang these off. That could be good for some amusement. So what I find amusing about where I live is that it's still very small townish, like I was saying on my little live stream yesterday, running around Starbucks. And when I get home, there's people sending off fireworks outside. Like, it happens here all the time. It's kind of funny. Like, you can't get away with that in the big city. But here, like I said, small town, big city. It's still set off fireworks in your backyard. And my girlfriend's heard it a few times even. She's like, what is that? I'm like, fireworks. So it's kind of amusing how you can get away with it here. I've been to provincial parks and they're all over you. You're running out of there. No, is the other guy? No, somebody else was in there. It wasn't us. Even though it was. I should keep that up. We'll go bang these off somewhere. That'll be a good test on the feed. We won't be able to get the 5G because I'm sure I'm not going to be banging those off in the city. Maybe if I was on the water, but then they might try and send out search and rescue. So, not a good idea. Box is empty almost. Oh, it's heavy. This could be very handy if I find an application for it somewhere. I have one of these, but I'm not going to be using this. I have another one that I've been speaking about. This is only for USB. I have one that does USB and 12 volt access, or where I can plug in my 110 for my computer. So there's some Velcro. I don't know if we'll use that maybe on the computer or something. But it's always handy. So it's a tap and die. These are all drill bits. What do I need out of here? I need jumper cables. Why? Because we're going to be installing an inverter today. And the largest copper cable you can get is the best. Let's send as much battery power to that inverter so that we can charge up our devices. Then I don't need that 12 volt plug-in accessory. We'll be running off of more or less house power in the car. Those are hole drillers. So, screws, pencils. Not building anything. I think that's about it. Hammer. WD-40. Remember, no, this is the lithium. High performance white lithium. You might need that. Alright, just a bunch of tools in there. If you are in the bush though, if you're one of the bush guys, oh man, I should have gone through some of this with my cousin. Paul, you gotta come back. So these things are awesome. You can pick them up at like Princess Auto or little hardware stores. So there's a 4 and there's a 5. and it's basically a pulley. So if you've got a winch, sometimes it's too much to just have your winch going to that tree. Or if you need to, I got a come along, so I can use a come along and I can pull myself out with that rather than a winch. It's just basically a handheld winch. So you rig it up so that this is tied to the tree, and then your line would go back. So it's like, you know, how they hoist stuff on the boats. When you go to one, you start to double your strength. When you have two, you're like quadruple the strength, triple, and then three. So you can send that wire back and forth if you have enough of them, and have a block that has 2 or 3 of these. A single does a lot. So if you guys are 4-wheel drivers, even one single block will help you incredibly. Double the power for pulling yourself out, right? Rather than just having the one rope. Think about it. When you go to the ships, they're hoisting those stuff up. They got 3 or 4 of these blocks, like the spindles within the block. But just having one will definitely help you out a lot. So that's a 4 and that's a 5. Obviously, this is a lot lighter. It'll still help. It'll do darn near the same job, just that this has a little bit more surface area and will give you a little bit more power. So that being said, you'll need a few shackles. You can get various sizes of shackles so that you can hook that to it, right? Have a sling wrapped around a tree or whatever. I've got a whack of slings in my box over there. And there's various different fabric slings that you can use. And put that together. Come along. So that's basically, if you don't know what a come along is, that's your come along. And it's a handheld winch, right? You see the line. Put a sling around the tree and then double it up. Put the wire through the block, double it up. You only get so much length with this. That's the only issue with the come alongs. Unless you get a larger come along, I'm not sure if you can. Probably, but this is the typical size, and you can pull yourself out by hand. So this is the cheap alternative of having a winch. Other than you got to use your own manpower, but it'll still do the job. You have a will, you have a way. You'll get out. Trust me. So I guess that should just stand out because all those things kind of go together. So nothing else out of that box. I don't have a truck. I'm not going to put come along and stuff in my vehicle. Really no need. And if you're in the backcountry, another great thing are these spots. You can be in the backcountry or you can be in the on the water or whatever. This comes with the case so that you've got the Velcro strap you can put around your arm. And what it basically does, like there's a subscription to this obviously, but you can send out an SOS, right? So if you're in distress, you send out an SOS, and I think it goes to 2 or 3 different email addresses. So it'll go to like search and rescue, and then 2 other people that you have it assigned to. So the other thing with it is you can send just little spot locations. So you can send a signal at any given time, and those people that you email the SOS to, they'll get an email of your exact GPS location. And basically you can have that email all set up in advance, kind of like a signature on an email where you just have a written stating that you're doing fine. Like I think you can set up 2 or 3 different emails. I can't remember. But then you just push the button, send out the message, and it gives them a GPS location of where you are and just a little note saying that you're good. So they're pretty handy to have. I've got 2 of those. They're on a subscription. I haven't used it for a while, but if you're into backcountry stuff, that's another great thing to have. The spot. So I wish I would have brought my cousin in here. Should have brought Paul in here. gone through some of this junk while he's here. Because if I'm not using it, somebody else can. Yeah, I might use it some other time, but don't you love this storage room? This is a rental home, and this is my storage room. Like, it's huge. My laundry room's almost double of this even. The house I owned, my laundry room I don't think was this big. Like, I love it. This place is gold. It's hard to leave this place. There got tons of these little knives. There's another bolt thing. And this is going for this. It's an inverter. Those of you that don't know, this one's a 3,000 watt inverter. You can pick these up at Canadian Tire, like Napa or whatever. 3,000 watts generally the biggest you're going to get. You can get a little bit bigger. I had one, a box. It was 2 or 3 times the size, but it still only produced 3,000 watts. So basically what you do is you wire into your battery of your car, right? So if you have a vehicle, you're going to have a battery and an alternator, and that's what creates the power in your car. That's how your lights run, your stereo, and everything else. And so the alternator generates power and more or less recharges your battery while you're driving. That being said, if it's recharging your battery, now you can utilize power from it. And that's what this does, so that you don't need to carry around a gas generator on your vehicle. So this eliminates that huge thing, and then all that safety behind it as well. So you don't need to have fuel and oil with you, right? This is like going to the electric car from having the gas generator. So you just wire in your positive and negative to this on either side. You can do it on both because I think you can loop around. There's different wiring installations, and then there should be a big resistor, like a fuse, like you would put into a car stereo. It'd be pretty much the exact same. I don't have one of those today. I might end up going down to Canadian Tire and picking one up. We'll see how much they are. But right now, I've used these before and got away without using that. So I'm sure I can get away without using it for a week or two, and then I'll purchase one. They do have a relay in them anyways. They automatic, like there's fuses on the front. There's these 3 fuses, and it has sensors in. So it will squeal at you when it's being overloaded. So that's why I really don't worry about the fuse on it, because it does have its own sensors in it, and it'll just shut stuff down before it's going to fry itself anyways. So there you go. Yeah, live streaming pros are on right now. They go live 10 o'clock, I think, every Tuesday. And those are the guys that, they didn't introduce it to me, but they talk about the live use solo quite a bit. But they still haven't quite got the setup set up the way that I'm looking to set it up. I was thinking about sending them out a message, but then that takes away from me being able to build it first. Whatever. Somebody probably already has anyways. If I thought it, somebody else thought it. That's just the way the world works, man. Those vibes go out. You got filters. Oh, sweet. I didn't know if I had one of these. This is definitely not for the Mercedes. But what is this? Okay, so you're going to see later on, I'm going to be installing a Wilson cell phone booster into the car. I have a portable setup so that it's in a little bag, and you can literally just wrap everything up and then take it with you on the go and jump into another vehicle. And as a consultant, that was great because you don't always drive in your own vehicle. Sometimes you have rentals or leases because you have to fly to location. It's just easier than spending all the time than driving. And also when you're renting a vehicle, it's a company write-off, right? So, but I did own trucks, and I like to have things hard mounted and looking professional rather than stuff hanging out all over the place. So it's still kind of up in the air if I'm going to put this in or not, because the internet service around here is pretty good and it's not fully required. But normally I would just throw it in
the reason what's holding me back right now from installing the Wilson cell phone booster is that there are no external antennas on Mercedes-Benz. And it's nice to have that really clean, slick look. And then to throw an antenna on a car that has no antennas on it, period, as it is, I don't know if I want to change its look. So thinking about it, wondering if there's somewhere I can install the antenna that's going to be a little bit more discreet rather than under the hood. This is where this installs to. You would install this, that's why there's a V there, so that it's bolted on to your the spring that holds up your hood. You know, when you lift up the bonnet, some people call it, just depends what country you're from, but your engine compartment hood, if you open that up, you can bolt this right to the bolt, and then this sits down in the groove of that water channel, and your hood would close over top so that this mount doesn't touch the paint, period. And then you've got an antenna that's mounted to the car solid. You can bolt it down so that it doesn't stick up. Like there's two little bolt holes in there, see that? And then this hole is where your antenna, so your power line will come up through here, or your signal line, and then your antenna mounts on there. So we'll go through that. I didn't know if I had one or not. Kind of happy that I do. I've got all kinds of things. So just over the years, as I've moved on from my business, I give a whole bunch of stuff away. You know, all kinds of stuff in here that I'm not using. So that's what I was saying. You can get different size shackles, right? Those are smaller ones. They don't have to be painted. They look pretty when they are, but different size shackles to hook up different things. These ones are smaller ones. I have the big ones. I have great big ones where you can only carry one huge one with one hand. And that's it. I don't think I need anything else in there, or I don't have anything else in there. So I could always put the cooler in the car, so if I had to carry drinks, that's in the cooler. But that's why I was thinking about getting a second set of bags, because when I was working at this place down here in construction, my boss there would order up like 25 pieces at a time, and the same, like 50 pops or 60 pops at a time, right? So that was Romeo's that delivered that, and that's where he always ordered from. But it doesn't mean that that order won't happen for somebody else like myself, being a private subcontractor. So that's why I was thinking about getting 2 or 3 sets of bags, because then you still have a very big bag for a large order of food, and then you have another big bag for your pops, right? I could bring it in this. It's nice. It's red and it's white. It matches. So it's quite possible that I could keep the pops and stuff in there, just do a sterilization of this thing, and then make sure I sterilize it at least once a week. It should be every day, but especially with COVID. But that's an idea, because some might get that catering style order, right? You got to always be thinking ahead, and you got to be prepared. You don't want to be the guy showing up to the party. You don't want to show up to a gunfight with knives. I used to have a jet ski. That was my tube. One thing that I've been holding on to, be cool if I got the flexible pads, because I could just add them onto the car and then I'd have free power. But silly me, bought panels instead of the wraparound pads, and they for solar panels you can get the flex pads that are the exact same price as these, and these panels, they're stiff, they're heavy, they're solid. But those flex pads, they're super thin, being the same price, they have way more versatility. You can put them almost anywhere. These things, you're pretty limited. But it's hard to give or sell stuff like that because of the capabilities that they can provide to you. So now I'm all dirty. Sick of getting dirty. That's why I'm liking this. We can stay clean and look good, dress nice. Zip ties, very important to have. It'd be nice to have little tiny black ones since my car's black. But I don't think I have any black ones. Alrighty. So, cooler, zip ties, the entire card. So this is cool. I lost a screw, I don't know where it went, but that's cool. I ordered that on Facebook once, and it's a wristband. Wear it on your wrist. And it's tools. You see, there's different socket drives, different sizes. There's your screwdriver heads, right? So you just pop it out and you can twist it. Different heads all the way through. Screwdriver. It's like $100 or $100 and some dollars for this. It's too bad I lost a screw. It even has a blade on it. So if you look at that one, there's a blade, like that curve is a, no, that one's a pick. This side, there's a curve. It's an actual, it's a blade. Kind of nifty, but it's a gimmick. I bought it and I've never used it. Junk. And it fell apart on me, so even more junk. Once it falls apart, it's junk. I'm sure I can fix it. Okay, let's gather this stuff up. So this goes with this, and I'm gonna have to rip through this box to see if I've got the connections, because we should have some copper connectors for that. So we're moving over here. You ready to move? You don't have a choice. I definitely need to find some more extension cords because this isn't gonna last forever. I can only reach so far. But there are loose holes in the area. Okay. Box of goodies. What do we got in the box of goodies? Rain-X for the windshield. Ooh, that could be handy. Straps. Little hose clamps. I think I looked through here the other day and didn't see what I was looking for. I'll do it again though today. They might show up. Old fuses. I don't know if these are the same as my car, so I should definitely check. There's a fuse puller, and it's a very smart idea to always carry extra fuses with you, right? Fuses, all different sizes, because our cars are office, and if we run out of power, we're having a meltdown. So there's some 30s, 15s are probably good to have, and 5s. These are 20s. So I'll have to make a little kit
little tool kit so that stuff's not floating all over. What do we got here? 52s or 25s, maybe? I can't see it being 52. And 15s. So we got a variety. Right? 15, 25, 20, 30. Make sure the car uses that style of fuse. We'll look into that today. And there's some more. What we got here? 3s. Oh, these are looking pretty dirty. 7.5s, but they'll still work. So there's a whole whack, right? Whole whack of fuses. We got Rain-X. Put that on the windshield. When you're driving lots, we gotta make sure we can see. And this is the Pacific Northwest. It rains a lot. Diesel conditioner. I don't drive a diesel anymore. I'm not gonna be using a road radio of any kind, so nothing else in here. Matches. Weird stuff showed up on my vehicle sometimes when I at the marina. Tarp tape. Okay. Rain-X fuses, fuse puller. Next box. What do I got? Oh, remote control for that thing, but I never use them. Maybe I could use it. That's the inverter on-off switch. Maybe I will use it because I can install the inverter in the trunk and then have the switch inside the cab. You just never know what'll come out of these boxes. Like creatine. Glow lights. This was really handy when it worked. It was a little solar light. You just blow it up so it blows up into a ball. And then it was a light. There's LED lights inside of there. That was great on the boat, but then it just stopped working. It was only like $10. Like, those are sweet. And it worked great in the car because you can put it on the dash in the car and it's always charging, and then boom, you had a light. It was bright, especially when you blow it up. It's kind of reflected all over the thing. Acted like a little lamp. That's a great thing to have. I wish it still worked. It's totally a little lamp. That's something that I gathered as well for backpacking. It's the little solar unit. It's got to be a way to get in there. It's all sealed up. That's the problem. And there's probably a battery in there somewhere. That's what I need to get at, is the battery. I don't know. I'll throw it in the sun, try it out again, see if it works. So another good thing that I'll probably keep in the car, I don't know if I'll use this one. It does fit on my dash a little bit better, so I guess I got two options. We'll take that out and we'll try it out. And what that does is you plug this into your 12-volt accessory. It's a solar panel, and it will give you a slow trickle charge to your battery and just keeps your battery alive. a lot of the big fancy car dealerships like BMW and stuff like that, Mercedes-Benz, they'll use these. I'll show you. But they'll use these ones because they're quite a bit larger. I'm wearing black, so everything that I show you doesn't really work out so well. But they use these large ones, and obviously they capture a little bit more sun. So I've got 2 of these large ones. You can mount it right to it, place it in the dash or whatever. My car doesn't really work that well. I guess I could put it on the steering wheel in the dash and use that so that I can still use power or whatever in the car, or just keep the battery kind of fresh when I'm sitting around. I don't want to have the car running all the time. Fuel starts to get expensive. So I'll take them both. Now I need to find that piece so that it can plug in. And they just both run off of, well, this is not the right one. That's the right one. Okay, so you got your 12 volt. There's a fuse inside of here, and then you have this connection. So that's, geez. So then you just plug it into the 12 volt accessory, and you can plug this in anywhere. So I don't know why they have separate cables, but I guess so you can set it up in different situations. So I got a couple of those. I'll just take one big one, one small one, see which one fits better in my car, right? And we'll just use that. Obviously, the big one's going to be better for gathering power. I've got 2 of them. The other thing that you can do with these is there's another connection, and that would be using these little clamps and plug it right into the battery. I obviously ripped mine apart and did something else with it. Wired it 2-in-1 or something. I do things like that. So I'm not finding those clamps. So yeah, this one. You see, I have it on a different setup. So you got the 2 setups. You can wire it in, plug it in with this 12 volt, or wire it to your positive, negative, just like jumper cables. So 2 different options, right? Which is kind of cool. So it's always handy to have. But it's hard to get rid of solar panels because it's like free power. So why would you sell a solar panel? I've seen people go to garage sales and purposely pick up any item that has a solar panel on it, whether it works or not. You can make the solar panel work again. It's just wiring. And bingo, you got free power. Like, you can set up a light show all around your house. It's pretty cool. I used to have little lamps on all of my posts. It's just the batteries. If you live in a cold climate condition like Canada, you got to take the batteries out in wintertime. In Victoria, you can get away with it. You probably take the batteries out for 2-3 months just to be safe, and then plug them all back in, and you're good to go, right? But a lot of rechargeable batteries, they only last for so long anyways, because they only have so many recharges. So you're gonna look at replacing the batteries if you're having, but it just depends how it's run. You could wire it all into one big, huge system, all of these little lights, and have big, massive power banks. So I know that I have these pieces around here somewhere, but I don't know where they went. So we'll pull out the tools. We'll do those. I don't need these boxes anymore. Keep solar panels out. See, this is kind of the behind the scenes action. If you're doing wiring, these are always good to have. I've been trained on how to use them. still don't know how to use it. I might want to keep that around the seat too. Hey, you don't want to mess with me, huh? I think I picked that up at the garage sale. Okay, the toolbox is a mess. I don't think we're gonna need it really. Like stuff jammed in here. The tray's not even in there. It's a pretty horrible case. Like usually I'm a lot more organized than this. This is horrible. Oil pan. Yeah. Okay, a bunch of slings. So if you're into any kind of vehicle maintenance, you gotta move fluids. Fluid transfer pump is great. Those of you with older vehicles like myself, I've got the 99 CLK Mercedes Benz. That's what we're working on today. And it'd probably be a good idea here pretty soon to actually change the fluids because I don't know when anybody else has. I've done the oil, but I'm probably at the point where I definitely got to do some transmission service, and then I don't think brake fluid breaks down. I'm sorry, it's an oil. But antifreeze could possibly have to be changed out. That you would want to drop. But if you're doing like brake fluid or something, this is great. Or if there's something in a tank, like if you're trying to empty out your fuel tank, this is great as well because it's like a siphon, but it's a hand pump siphon, right? So that works really well. This one's still new. I was going to use it on the boat, and then I just ended up ripping everything apart and did it differently, and it worked for me that way. But I didn't return it because I thought it would still be very handy down the road later on, possibly. With all kinds of certain tools, I could definitely make some money out there somewhere, somehow. I got gloves. Safety vest. So, this is a brand new safety vest. And if we break down on the road, you're not always seen. Look at me, I'm dressed in black right now. People are not going to see me on a dark road on a dark night. So having a safety vest, this is an entire vest, would be very smart to have in your vehicle, no matter if you're a courier or you drive, period. If you drive, you should have something visible because sooner or later you're going to break down. It doesn't matter if you own a new vehicle or an old vehicle. And I've been in this situation where people can't see me. And something like this is all you need. Like, this is just a little strap setup, right? It's got a reflective stripe. That's what the silver part is. And then vehicles passing by with that reflective stripe, they're going to see you there. So I've kept a couple of these in my vehicles. And even though I wasn't in the vehicle, I still put this outside of it because your taillights don't reflect. There's nothing reflective on the back of a vehicle. So I hung these on the back of my vehicle until somebody else got there or I got help so that you can see the reflection of me. Because quite often I've been on the highway and you'll come around the corner, you'll be driving down a flat straight, doesn't matter. There's all different kinds of situations, but you don't see a dark vehicle until it's right up in front of you. But if you have something like this, the person that's driving will see it quite a bit of ways ahead of time. And now you're safe. At least they have a chance of reacting and getting away from you if you're in an unsafe situation, rather than bumping into you and creating more of a situation. And I've seen that happen as well. And it's very scary. So, safety first, right, guys? I saw an accident once when I was up in Fort McMurray. It was pretty crazy. I was out on the town. Obviously, we went to town, had some dinner, and then on our way back, there's this thing called bootlegging for all of you young folks that don't know what bootlegging is. It's basically you selling cigarettes and alcohol illegally. So you're buying it in bulk, and then you're taking it back to a camp like these guys did and sold it for, say you bought the beer at $1. Well, now you're going to go out there and you're going to sell it for $2 because you got to pay for your travel and your time, right? And now it's your business. But a lot of guys didn't have vehicles to get to town to get booze. So therefore, there came the bootlegger. But the problem is this bootlegger was drinking, and so was his buddy. And then there was this truck that broke down on the highway, and a tow truck came to come and save him. And now they were in the process of hooking up. This is what it looked like when I arrived on the scene. I was with 2 other guys. I think I said this story before. I can't remember. But anyways, I'm going to say it again. So yeah, we showed up on the scene, and you could see the tow truck driver and the guy with the broken down truck standing there in shock. Like, if you've ever seen shock, you'll know that these people were in shock. It's pretty noticeable if you've ever dealt with first aid ever before. And the next thing is you look at it, and the bootlegger and his driver were smashed up against, like, this. You got to remember, the tow truck and this broken down truck were on the side of the road, on the shoulder, and this bootlegger truck smashed right into the back end of the truck that was about to be towed or hoisted. And they were unconscious when we got to the scene. I wish my buddy didn't do it. I don't know what happened after the fact, but he decided to climb in and unbuckle their seatbelts. He didn't move the strap off their shoulder, but he unbuckled their seatbelts because he knows what kind of tension there is after you get in an accident. A seatbelt will suck you up. It's designed to hold you in place, right? So it reacts with the whole impact, and it locks you into place and can really squeeze you into an uncomfortable position. If you've ever been in an accident, you'll know it's not very nice, and you can't get out. Literally, I've been in an accident before where I couldn't find that buckle, but I was so tight, I just couldn't get out. But somehow, as a kid, I weaseled my way out of there and kind of saved the day a little bit. Anyways, yeah, it's super scary, and it can happen. So even though the tow truck driver had all the lights on and everything else, the bootlegger was that out of it that he drove right into the back end of that truck. And it happens quite often. I worked with another guy. He was engaged to a girl. He is her fiance's kid, or his fiance's kid, sorry. They went to go buy a quad for this kid, drove to another town, and they were drinking as well. Truck drivers, they have these lights that shine backwards as their backup light, but they'll have them up high by their cab. And apparently, I think that was the light that he had on, and because he was intoxicated, he thought otherwise. I don't know what he thought, but he drove into the back end of this truck while it was parked on the side of the road, and the quad came flying through the back of the cab and killed not him. So, yeah. Road safety, we got to take it serious. I've seen a lot of stories. I could sit here all day and tell you stories about accidents I've seen and or been in, okay? I've got over 1 million kilometers on the road, guaranteed. I used to drive 60 to 80,000 kilometers a year and did that for, 22 years? You add it up. And then I've driven 12 other countries around the world. So, I got a little bit of experience. All right, I think I found what we were looking for. Sweet. A test light.
This is gotta be one of the most handy items to carry around with you. Super, super handy. And so simple. It's just a test light. So there should be a little light inside of here. It's probably burnt out or broken. I don't know, I'll have to try it. But you can hook up to power, right, with this red clamp. And then you touch this to make sure there's power going between the connection. This is the best device you can have. Keep one in your vehicle. This one's definitely going in the car right now, immediately. Because when power goes down, this is a lot easier to pull out than pulling out all of these, right? Why would you pull out all these fuses to see if they're good or not when you can just touch it? Touch, touch, touch. So simple. So a test light, I guarantee, I highly recommend it. Get yourselves a test light. You can make it if you are crafty. So it's very simple. Go get a light bulb, a little tiny light bulb. I've got some around here somewhere, probably not in here. 2 pieces of wire and a soldering gun. And you put some flux on the area, clean it all up, sand it up a little bit, put the flux on your copper, psh, psh, boom, you got a test light. You don't even need that if you have a piece of tape. It's always good to have the flux for the bottom piece of the light bulb because you got to put a wire on the bottom and a wire on the side to make it work. But super simple. Epoxy. You never know, or you need epoxy to fix some fiberglass or something. Okay, so what did I find? What were we looking for? This is a whole bunch of electrical items, accessory pieces. These are what we're looking for. Little copper attachments. So what we're gonna do, I have a used cable set right back here, but they weren't mine, so I don't know if they're my landlord's or if it was the last guy that just left them behind. Anyways, I've got a set in the car already, so this is kind of a spare set. And I don't plan on getting a second vehicle, and if I do, it's going to be electric. So I'm taking these cables apart to take these clamps off, to put this on so that I can wire it into the inverter that the computer's sitting on, so that I got a solid connection instead of trying to bolt wires down. I can bolt this and the wires are attached inside of it. So that's what that's what a lot of this hunt has been. So I definitely need 4 of them. And it looks like I only have 2. So, wiring stuff together, you'll see today, I put in new lights in my car. I'll show you them. These are super simple. When you have to add in wires, these things are deadly. Because you slip this over a wire that already has power, and then the wire that you want to attach to power, you put into this, and you've got a connection when you squeeze it down together instead of cutting wires up. Snap on this, bingo, done. Some smart people out there made some good stuff for us. Okay, that sucks. I wish there was more. I need more. See what I mean? This sucks. Like, technology companies gotta get their crap together and quit making all of these different stupid connections. Because this one, I might be able to use that. I was looking for that. But, like, you've got a million different heads. It's stupid. And wires just sit around like this. You don't know what it's for. There's no label on it. Like, what's that for?
Could be a video camera. Could be PlayStation. Could be freaking anything, man. Like, I hate it. But then you can't use it because it doesn't plug into anything else. It's environmentally not friendly. So we got to get rid of that. Laws need to be put down, man. And I think that's what's happening. So, good. Okay. So I got my inverter, I got cables, I got 2 connections. So I'm gonna have to figure something out there. Solar panel, I got reflective vest, got some tools. I don't think there's anything else in here that I can possibly really use. Oh, there's a spill kit. Should probably grab the spill kit. I'm just gonna chuck us a few more boxes. It's like fishing junk. More fishing stuff. Leave all that away when this is my sanding stuff. Soldering gun, soldering iron. I don't think we'll be using it today. But actually, we could use that today. It'd be a lot easier to solder those wires to those connections than it would be to squeeze them. You'll get a solid connection. Good idea. And I just saw my cleaner back there and kept it in the box. We'll have to pull it out. Smaller zip ties. We're gonna have to keep these out. Let's use small zip ties rather than all the big ones. Okay, I'm gonna find that little brush and then that's that. I guess I might as well bring you with me right here, just staring at nothing. I gotta find the copper, the little brush so I can scrub the copper. If you don't scrub the copper when you're doing copper soldering, you won't get a good clean bond. It won't stick. It won't work. Where did I see it? Wrenches. I don't think I need wrenches, but could take that. That's a nice little kit to have. See that? All your wrenches in a bag or a pouch. It's really nice. Power Fist. Get that at Princess Auto, and everything's 100% warranty, guaranteed. So something gets wrecked, doesn't work anymore, you can return it. Doesn't matter how old it is. I've had old pneumatic jacks, and you could tell they were old, and they replaced it. Lifetime guarantee, lifetime replacement. So, Power Fist tools. Princess Auto special. Careful, some of their stuff's junk, but that's where I get stuff like this, right? The sling, you can get stuff like that there. Tow rope, whatever you want to call it. looking at it and didn't pull it out. I don't know why. I can't see. It's too dark over there. I'm getting really hot in this jacket. Put harness on. Ripping through all of this gear. Wait a second. You see something once, it's right there in front of you. And then you go back and try and find it, and you can't find it. Oh, ridiculous. These cables are looking a little older than the other ones. And pretty nasty looking. Maybe we'll rip up these ones instead because they're older. Why wreck something that's a lot newer and better? Keep them for another project. Oh, come on. I just saw you there. Wowzers. All right. From one box to the other box. It's easier that way. Rather than moving stuff around. Just move it all together. Get it out of there. Because it'll just keep dancing around in there somewhere. You won't see it at all. Holy wowzers, that's amazing. Where did it go? I just saw it here. I should have pulled it out so that you saw that I saw it. This is ridiculous. Oh man, I don't know how good it is. Wire strippers. I got tools everywhere. It's ridiculous. Those honking wire snippers. Let's go take some big pieces of cable. We need some big copper, boys. We're on the copper hunt. Wasted tools. Torque wrench. Waste of money. This one's junk and it's never been used. Why do we waste money like that? Do it often. More often than I should. Okay, like this makes no sense now. Then one of the two boxes. This is getting. You're wasting time. Time is precious. I want to get out there and start building. So I'm freaking searching for stuff. I'm just making a mess. Come on. I could have sworn I saw it in one of the blue boxes. It's probably up there. One of those boxes. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I'm getting old. I'm losing it. I don't see now. not in here. Gloves and mittens. Alright, it's not in here. It's gotta be out here. Sorry about the noise. I just saw it, so can't be far. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Scrubs copper. See, there's the big scrub. There's the little scrub. And then scrub the outside of copper pipe. So that would be the insides. So anyways, I need to clean stuff. I'm going to use choppy ones. Should I use the choppy ones? Yeah. And I just saw those big snips. And we're going to be snipping wire, so it'll be a lot faster. Other than I put them my way and just threw everything on top of them. Yeah, I'm doing it again. Throwing everything from one box into another box. It never gets old. So, big snips. Snip big wire. Okay, that's enough of this. Oh, I'm only dirty. I'm getting hot in here. So, start getting some of this stuff outside. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, it's definitely starting to cool off out there. You can feel the fall kicking in. Alrighty, grab a few pieces here. Move outside. And gotta get the power cable out there so we don't have to worry about that. 85% now, but we'll still stay plugged in so that power is not required to be on our mind. So I want to do the build, but I didn't want to do it today because I wanted to stay out in public, but this has to get done. I gotta get this done before I set you here. I'm gonna get the power cable. All right. I could probably plug into the back here. Plug in there too, but I don't have to climb through the bushes anymore. Maybe I'll plug in there.